and welcome to Modern Craft. I am your host, Nicole Marett. And is sitting here in front of me, we have a very, very special guest that has driven all the way from Missouri. We have Miss Suzanne Turner from PDB Blanks and Glitter in the house.
Hey, hey.
Hey! Thank you for coming on the show. You're my first guest, and I'm really excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We have so many plans and so many things we want to talk about. I think we went to bed at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning last night because we just had all these ideas. Like when we get together, it is like crazy, like creative explosion and running here and running there. And we're just like, okay, we need to settle down. We need to go to bed.
We need to rein it in. Bring it back down.
We need to just calm down. We're getting, a little too wild. Too excited! All right, so one of the topics that I've been kind of like juggling back and forth all along here in the cup world and in the art world, and it's a thing that has been going on that we really don't talk about. We just kind of like raise our eyebrow to.
Yes.
And let's just call it let's call a spade. The stop copying me.
Stop copying me.
She's copying me. What is your take on that? Yes, obviously we know our feelings toward it. I mean, I think it's a funny subject. I think it's a silly subject. I think we're all women. I mean, I don't recall going to recess every day. I mean, it's like, tell me, like seriously, like what do you think about this?
So I think it has many layers. I think that artists are protective of their work, and I think that's okay to be protective of your work.
Right.
But I think as far as when it gets to the tumbler industry, and especially these groups where people are coming in with the intention to learn,
right,
it adds a whole new layer to what it means to quote unquote own a technique or copy someone and copy their technique.
Right. So it's like, if you're going to be a part of this community of teaching and learning and sharing, isn't it kind of like counterproductive for you to be like, stop copying me?
Absolutely. I mean, these people, most of the time their groups that they join have the word tutorial or new beginner or anything like that.
We have to be really careful of that because some of these groups are like, hey, you know what? They get it kind of like sort of murky where somebody will share something and then not necessarily want to have a tutorial, and then somebody will come back and be like, you have to show us because this group is called tutorials.
Right.
And so like that is a very gray line. I think also it's like not everybody who shares wants to teach, but at the same time, hey, you know what? I'm sharing, be inspired and go out there and do it the best way you can. That doesn't mean I'm required to teach you.
Sure. I think that comes down to how a person decides to run their group. If I run a group and it's called something that has the word tutorial or new learning, something like that in it, then I think if you decide to post your items in that group, you also have to be open to the questions that are going to come along with it. Now, if you want to share and you don't want to do a tutorial just as a person who wants to share, not someone that's running the group, just wanting to share, that maybe that's not the group for you to share in.
See, that's where you and I have like a little bit of a difference of opinion where it's just like, I should be able to be in a group, and whether the title is tutorial or beginners or demos or whatever it is, cats and baskets, it doesn't matter. If I want to show something, people shouldn't come at me with pitchforks and, stakes saying, hey, you know what? You're in this group to show us how to do it. But like, actually, I'm not in a group to show you how to do it. I'm a part of a community, but unless I have been asked, just like in our group, like we asked, will you promise to participate? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to show them how to do it. That just means, hey, you know what? Participate. Don't just be a taker,
Sure, but I think that people, when you have so many options of groups to join. If there was just one group and everyone shared in there, I think you could say, then it's up to the person who's sharing, to say, I don't want to give you away information. But there are hundreds of groups. And some of them that say you do not need to share your
Right.
technique in this group. By all means, you should share in those groups. But I don't think that you should ask a group called tutorials and other things where people are expecting to learn that they should suddenly become to your standard of not wanting to share.
Right. I think that's where you and I kind of differ, because I'm just like, hey, you know what? If I was because inspiration comes in many forms.
Sure.
You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a step-by-step demo instruction. Hey, give me all the colors you use. Give me the glitters and where you bought this and where you bought that.
Right.
I should be able to show a cup or a painting or whatever it is and say, hey, you know what? Be inspired just like I was. I have never asked someone, list me your colors, because I want to know. I have never asked someone. Now, I have taken knowledge from here and I've taken knowledge from there. I've taken inspiration from people and places and things that have nothing to do with Facebook or social media or groups in general, and I've applied them. And naturally, I just want to help people, but I don't feel like I should get mad at someone or be demanding of someone because you're a part of this group and it's your job to show me how to do it. You know,
But you don't have to be, you get to choose to be a part of the group. If you come into the group knowing that this is a tutorial group and you don't want to share your work, then you probably shouldn't be a part of this group. Be a part of a group.
So you're saying that if you have decided to join a tutorial group, be prepared to be asked the questions,
Yes.
or you are obligated to.
No.
Okay.
I think you need to be prepared and not be offended.
Okay.
If it's your choice to say, I don't want to share, but don't be all offended when people ask because you posted in a tutorial
Now,
group.
some people have gotten around that by saying when they go and they post their picture that they're proud of, or they want to showcase what they created, and right off the bat, they will say, side note, do not ask me what my glitters are. Do not ask me my method. There is no tutorial at this time because, let's face it, I personally pulled all my videos because I was overwhelmed. With people were no longer looking at the tumbler and be like, oh, that's great, that's awesome, that gives me an idea, I'm inspired to do this, or oh, that just sparked a creative, whatever. Instead, they were like, where's your tutorial? And then when other people would go and do the same thing, it was no longer about that person's work. It was them bombarded with a thread of questions asking, where's the Nicole Marett tutorial? I'm like, guys, let's not hijack this person's feed.
Sure.
Say, awesome, great, you did a great job. And if you would like to share, because I don't mind sharing, if somebody's like, hey, do you mind me asking you this? But if they're like, you have to show. Where is this tutorial? Where is that? And I'm like,
Right, but I don't think you can control the response to your post. If I want the response to my post to just say how beautiful my cup is and not ask questions, I shouldn't post in a tutorial group. That's just my firm opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to only post and it just be a pretty cup and people tell me how pretty it is, then I should post in a group that's maybe for more advanced tumbler people who would maybe know how to do what I'm doing.
And that is common sense to us because we're veteran cuppers. But for the average person who goes into these, advanced groups of resin artists and cuppers, is it wrong for them to be is it bad manners for you to ask, do you mind sharing what technique you use?
I think it depends on the group you're in.
Okay. So we can agree to disagree.
We'll agree to disagree.
Okay. See, I feel like I should be able to post wherever. And if I feel like sharing, I will share, but I shouldn't be looked down upon or judged or ridiculed or kind of chastised for not giving up all the goods at once. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to list all 105. You know what? I don't know. People think I'm full of shit sometimes because I'm like, honestly, guys, I do not know. I mean, you've been in my studio. You've seen my glitters. Do you see labels when you look at my glitters? No, there's no labels. They're all facing the wall because you know why? Because when I'm inspired and I'm in the groove and I'm going and I'm moving and I'm grooving, I am not stopping to look like, oh, well, Nola's is this one and Feather Bear's is this one. No. I grab what talks to me.
But I think that's a whole nother discussion of the difference between an artist and being a teacher and a person who's learning.
See, I think I'm all three.
Right? No, but not everyone who's learning is able to be inspired and create something different.
True. If you're starting out, like they kind of need the training wheels.
Right.
They need to know this is going to look this way. And so like after a while, like from the beginning, I've always faced my labels towards the wall. Or if I'm grabbing, I don't even know what the names of the inks are. Like I don't even know. I look and I'm like, okay, I need a green that looks like an olive. Found it. What's the name of that? I don't know. So it's like when they ask me, Nicole, what colors did you use? And I'm like,
It makes you feel like
know.
they think that you're
That I'm
hiding
lying.
something from them. Yeah,
Or
that
I'm
you
being
just don't want to give up the
stingy.
secret.
Yeah, I'm being greedy with my don't copy me. I mean, come on, like please. I really encourage you to copy me because I can't even copy me.
Okay.
When I do it, I just do it.
So let's say, how do you feel when you do decide to do a tutorial?
When I do decide to do a tutorial, I am laying down and saying, take this. I'm giving this to you as my gift. Do what you want with it. Spread it. Do your own. Put your own spin on it. Upcycle it. You don't want to give me credit? Fine.
So you don't
I
feel like
care.
you own the technique.
No, that leads us down to the next thing. Can somebody own a technique? I mean, how many ways is there to skin a cat? I mean, how many ways is there to glitter a freaking tumbler?
Tumbler, right?
And how many ways can you put mica on a tumbler? And how many ways can you mix your epoxy and torch it? And I mean, come on.
I think it is really great when people give the artist they learn from credit.
Mm-hmm.
Is it always going to happen?
No.
No, it's not always going to happen. And I don't think that a technique that you created the Milky Way, right?
I don't even know what the hell I created. I threw
Right.
something on there and I was like, that's cool.
But that's what people are calling it, right?
Yeah.
But now, 6 months down the road, there's going to be a new person to Tumblrs that's going to come across someone who has made a Milky Way tumbler.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have never heard of you.
Right.
And they're going to make a tumbler, and they may even say Milky Way. Or they're just going to say, I saw this tumbler, and look what I made.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you and I both have an issue with is when someone says, you stole that.
Yeah.
It belonged to Nicole. That's not your technique. And she's going to be like, I have no idea who Nicole is.
I saw it scrolling and I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. And even if it has a similarity, I don't feel like I have the right to go bang on this person's door and be like, you need to give me credit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be like, cool. You
were
did
inspired
it. Yeah,
and you did something,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. So it's I don't think anybody who goes and teaches people how to do it and then says, all right, I own this, and if you're going to do it, don't you dare teach anybody how to do it. Only I can teach people how to do it.
Right.
And if you try to do a tutorial on this, oh, you're going to get side-eyed, and oh, you're going to get this, and you're going to get ridiculed, and you're going to get, dragged to the streets. Come on.
Because I think a method of any kind, when it's taught by different people learn differently. And the way they may have seen you teach it, they may not have gotten the end product that they were wanting.
Right.
And they may see that technique taught by someone else and it clicked for them and be like,
it triggers something else,
okay,
and it
I got
evolves.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it safe to say, be like, hey, you know what? If we are just hunkered down by one person's tutorial and we're not expanding or building on top of it, we're not growing.
Right.
We're not learning anything new. We are just chasing our own tail and we're just becoming irrelevant. I mean, everybody borrows a little something from everybody, right? I mean, how many beach cups have you freaking seen? And,
Many.
I mean, and everybody's is either done with glitter or micas or pigments or acrylics or whatever it is, but it's still the same technique and application, right? It's just done certain different ways.
Sure.
Okay, so nobody even knows who started the beach cup. Nobody, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's urban legends out there.
Yeah, I'm sure I could trace if I really
trace it.
got into and trace back. I could probably find
right.
it.
The person who owns, or the person who owns the pencil, or the person it's just
Well, speaking of the pencil, she did do the tutorial originally.
Mm-hmm.
And she got real upset when people did it exactly the way she did it, with the exact same colors and the exact same
Even though
pattern.
she showed the colors and listed the colors and did the step-by-step tutorial.
Yes.
Then she's mad that people are doing it.
She was. But then she went to YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and posted it and started to sort of capitalize on her ability to do tutorials, including the pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually...
It's just like, you can't stop that. Like, once you put it out there, it's out there.
Yeah, well, you and I talked last night when we were talking about how you can do a beautiful cup.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an original method as far as you know. Now, I can do a tutorial and put it out there so other people can learn. I can put it on YouTube and get advertising from it, whatever.
Now, that's another sticky situation.
Or do I put that beautiful tumbler on my shelf and look at it all by myself so that no one else can ever copy it? Like, I think you have to decide what type of artist you want to be at that point. Do you want to be someone who doesn't share with other people and other people won't learn from, or do you just want to hoard it to yourself?
Yeah.
Which is okay if that's what you want to
And
do.
I can see that whole area where you're like, okay, if you're going to be a part of these groups and you're going to be posting in these groups, you are sort of leaving yourself open to people wanting to know and ask questions, and you shouldn't get annoyed.
Sure.
And you've kind of like taken on that responsibility of, okay, you know what, I am choosing, so you are accepting. Like, you are accepting once you join these groups and you start posting, you are non-verbally accepting.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the nature of the beast of doing a tutorial, is that people are going to copy you. Like we said, that's a whole nother thing. People are going to copy you down to the glitter.
Yeah, they want to know the glitter. And I mean, it's up to you to decide whether, like, I admire people who are like, hey, you know what, these are my colors, this is how I use, blah, 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 blah. And I admire the people who are like, hey, you know what, I'm not, like, you gotta have some serious guts to just put your cup out there and be like, you know what, I'm not gonna tell you.
Sure.
Deal with it. Like, I don't care. And I can respect that too. I can see both sides. I don't think that you're obligated to do anything. You shared, you participated, you fulfilled your obligation as being a member of a functioning social media group. Do you have to give them and divulge information? No.
No.
Do you have to answer questions? No. Should you be accepting and be understanding that these are going to happen? Yes.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Now, going on to the YouTube thing. I have moved to YouTube.
And I love it. I love it so much.
I never realized that, like, why am I just doing my tutorials on a live? Why not do it in just for a small group? Why not do it for anyone?
Right.
And for everybody.
And not to mention, there's so many Tumblr groups now where you can't do lives in their group, or you can't do certain lives.
And you can't mention
using certain vendors.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it becomes very restrictive. So I think when you move to YouTube, you really opened the horizon of people who could follow and see what you were doing, instead of just keeping it in this very close community that, you know, you may or may not be breaking rules of, and may or may not be able to post.
And those rules no longer apply. You are basically your own boss of your own domain, of your own personal group. And I applaud people who it takes a lot of guts to do that.
Absolutely.
And I applaud anybody who does that. And I don't think anybody has a right to kind of like judge or say you can't do that. You know, you can't copy me.
But do they say you
do that.
can't put it on YouTube because a lot of people have advertising before their...
And okay, that's another thing. Like, who cares if they have advertising? Like, who cares? Good for them that everybody wants to see them do a technique. Don't be hating. Like
why are we mad at anyone for making a profit on taking the time to make a video, edit the video, make the that takes a lot of time, and why are we constantly asking that you should only give it away for free?
Yeah, exactly. And only to us.
And only to us, not
and
to
don't
anyone
let anybody else. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with that. Now, see, we have a group, and we have a very strict rule. Rule number 4. What goes on in Tumblr Magic stays in Tumblr Magic. I say that because vendors have coupon codes for us.
Right.
And vendors are marketing to our group, they have their business to do too. I mean, if you want to share with the world, then that's their business to go and do that. What happens in Tumbler Magic, I think needs to stay in Tumbler Magic. That's one thing. But if you want to take, like, screen grabbing stuff within a group and then sharing it, that's not cool. But if you want to take what you know and your technique and you want to go do your own video, hell, go do your own video. Good job. More power to you.
Yeah.
You learned something in my group and you want to go to YouTube and take it out there and you want to do a demo on it. I get excited when people are like, I'm going to do a tutorial on something that you taught me, or I was inspired by this person. I'm going to go do it. It takes a lot of guts to do that.
I think sometimes people get wrapped up in the someone's taking something from me instead of the someone's adding something to our community.
Exactly. It's just been like a really, what people call the ugly side of the cup business. And I have been victim of it, and I have been guilty of it too. I have gotten like, okay, they're not doing it right, or oh my gosh, you know, they're putting words in my mouth, or oh my gosh, they told me that I couldn't do this, you know? And I'm like, okay, first of all, let me just check myself. Let me get over myself.
Right, rein the ego in.
Yes, let me sit down for a second and realize, was I born learning how to make, just knowing how to make cups?
No, we all learn.
We all learn from someone. Exactly. And we were thankful for it.
And multiple someones. We all learn from multiple someones.
Yes.
And thank goodness, because like I said, everyone learns differently, and that's okay.
Yes.
So, I have a question for you.
Okay. Shoot.
How do you feel when you do a tutorial and you've said, I've used this glitter and I used this mica and whatever, and you see someone else put out a cup or display a cup, whether it gives you credit or not, where they use the exact same product?
How do I feel about that? Above all, I'm flattered. I'm flattered because they took my, when I say my air quotes right now, my technique. It's not my technique. I learned a similar technique from somebody else, who that person learned from somebody else.
Right.
We are upcycling
And you
our
just
art.
put your own spin on it, yeah.
We put our own spin on it. So for someone to say, doesn't it piss you off that that person didn't give you credit? And I like look at it, I kind of like laugh, you know, because it's like, okay, I know where they got it from. Right. Or I know who inspired them. And it doesn't even have to be me. It could be anybody.
Right. And the truth is, like I said, that person who comes in 6 months later, they honestly may not know who you are.
Exactly.
But back to if they use your exact items, my thing is you have learned that way from childhood. As a child in school, you learn that if I learn from the teacher doing the exact same method that they do, I will be successful in completing this task. Why do we think that is much different as we grow older?
I think that people are scared that they're going to take the crown from them, you know? Like
maybe. I just think some people need to use those same colors just to know that they can get the effect that you did, so that they can be confident to use different colors later.
And what have I always told people? I've always said, play.
Yeah.
Play.
But some people don't know how to play without doing it exactly the same way.
And even if I were to give it to you, if I were to say I use, because sometimes like on certain cups, I'll just use three inks, and it's pretty easy to remember which 3 inks I use. I'd be like, I use this one, and this one. And they'll go and they'll try, and then they'll get all mad at me and they'll be like, you lied. That is not what you did. My cup doesn't look exactly like yours. And I'm like, well, yeah, because everybody draws different. Everybody's handwriting is different. Yeah, we're using the same alphabet, but hey, guess what? Everybody's writing is going to look different. Everybody's art's going to look different.
Sure.
Their ink's going to look different. So do not expect, that was my whole like big picture. Do not expect your cup to look just like mine.
Right. And especially with the method you did, it almost never will. But when it's a very, like, if we're doing the chevron method or, you know, the leopard print.
There's only so many ways you can do chevron.
Well, and then someone uses the exact same colors as the person that did the tutorial, and they're like, listen, I don't mind teaching you, but you can't use the exact same colors I used.
Like, allegedly, the poncho that went all over.
That caused major turbulation.
I mean, I was like, okay, really? Like, I had to put the phone down and be like, okay, I have seen people straight up copy bit by bit by bit and not give zero credit. But this cup here, I looked at it and the person who wrote it was like, this is why I don't like showing people because they'll copy me. Even though you did a tutorial on it 2 days before.
Do you have a right to say don't copy me if you do a tutorial?
You have to expect people are going to do
that. That is the nature of the game to me. Like, I think that that's just part of it. If I'm going to do a tutorial, I have to expect that people are going to do it the exact same way I've done it. Like, I did a zipper cup tutorial a while back.
Right.
And I cannot tell you...
It's on YouTube, right?
Right.
So everyone's seen it. In fact, I saw somebody doing a zipper tutorial last night on a live. So, I mean, everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it. But I cannot tell you the amount of people that were like, I need that brown color that you used. I need that diamond glitter that you used. Mm-hmm. They wanted it exactly the same color. They could have used any color. Any color in the world.
But they wanted it to look like yours.
But because I used those colors in the tutorial, that's the ones they wanted to use. And you know what?
You didn't care? You were like, okay, cool,
I just don't mind. Because I know that some people, they saw it work with those colors. So if they can do it with those colors, they're like, oh, I can make this work. Now I can sub pink for the brown. And I can sub orange for the white. Like, then they can start pulling. But usually in the beginning, they want to know that they can make it look like yours.
And then feel comfortable enough to branch out to other little colors.
And I feel like a lot of people who do tutorials just take that the wrong way. Like, how dare you copy me exactly the same colors that I used in my tutorial?
Even though I showed you how to do it last night. How dare you copy me?
Yeah, I think if you're going to go ahead and do a tutorial, you have to expect that people will copy you. Some people will copy you color for color, inch for inch, however you made that cup.
Right.
And some people may not give you credit. And some people may even go on to do a tutorial themselves.
Now, I'm gonna throw something in here.
Okay. I'm ready.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Okay. I think the company you keep feeds a lot into that, stop copying me.
Absolutely.
I mean, before I was in specific groups, let's be frank, I wasn't making great cups. I was just kind of like grabbing onto any kind of little, tip here, try this, do this. I was doing the pencil cup, and let me tell you, I freaking hate doing pencil cup. You cannot pay me to do a pencil cup. I was trying to do the Louis Vuitton, whatever it was.
Right.
The water slides. I was trying to grab onto everything. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to put all this down. I'm stressing myself out way too much. I'm just going to do what I think is pretty, and I'm going to do it. And look what happened.
Look what happened. But not everyone's like you.
And then, but the point I'm trying to make is, had I just been going down that path and just being Nicole in my own little bubble, and somebody were to catch something, say I made an XYZ cup.
Sure.
And somebody was like, oh my gosh, that XYZ cup. And they copied me, And I was just regular old Nicole without the influence of other people around telling me, ooh, that's a jab. Ooh, that person totally just stepped on you.
Oh, so you're like when people are in your ear saying, oh, did you see them post that cup? Yeah. Did you see them steal your design?
They stepped on you. They ripped you off. You know what I'm like?
Oh, absolutely. I think that goes to the company.
It feeds into this person of like this territorial person, this do not copy me. This is mine.
Yeah.
This is mine. And I think that without the people in your ear feeding that beast, I really think what it comes down to is, you know what? We're all here to share. We're all here to learn from one another. And if those people weren't in your ear, would it really make that big of impact?
Yeah, would you care so much? If someone wasn't constantly telling you, like, someone's taking something from you, would you care so much that it was happening?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes. I think that's very much into the company you keep. And I think even, you and I had been friends for a while, even when you started on this inking journey that was very particular to your own style. And I think I even mentioned to you at some point, like, I feel like you're getting upset with people for wanting your knowledge that I used to feel you were really good about sharing.
Right.
I think you and I had that discussion. And I have watched you in the last 2 months blossom into this
Why, thank
amazing
you.
person who shares and is not afraid of sharing, does not feel like
Right.
anyone's taking something from her by sharing. I mean, how many entrepreneurs have made a living for themselves and their family by hoarding all their information?
And that's kind of how I feel like in these past couple months, like I did go through a sort of like a let's share everything, and then I kind of went into my shell when I was being told, look, they're gonna steal everything, they're gonna copy you, and I'm like, oh God, they better not copy me. Oh my gosh, they're gonna take from me, and they're gonna copy me, and I'm gonna lose everything, and I'm gonna be discredited, and I'm just gonna be washed out. And then I was just like, oh, I went to your house and I talked to you, and you were just like, let's talk. Why aren't you sharing anymore? And I was like, well, you're like, I think that's crap. I think you need to share. I think you need to do this. And I'm like, okay, my husband was telling me you need to share. Everybody who's anybody does not keep information to themselves. They are happy to share. They are happy to give. And I kind of tried it out the first time, and I put myself out there, and the response that I got and the feeling that I got was just overwhelming, that people were so happy that I was just sharing. And I didn't feel like I was losing anything. I felt like I was gaining.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there are some people, I think, that just have this talent like you have. And when they share, it just adds so much to our community.
Right.
Like the tutorial that you've shown, the amount of cups that I have seen.
And let me tell you, I didn't try
groups,
to make it a thing.
Amazing.
It was a screw up. A customer wanted. Okay, here was inspiration. The resin geode art that I made, the pink and the gray one with the rocks and stuff. She was like, I want a cup like that. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do with that. And she's like, I want a cup with those colors, and I want it like that. So I go and I threw a bunch of glitter on a cup, and I was like, oh my God, I'm running out of time. Holy hell, here goes nothing. And I threw a bunch of mica pigment on it, and it ended up being a thing. And I looked at it and said Milky Way, because I saw stars on it. Yeah. What has stars and it's blingy? I was like, you're a Milky Way cup. You look like the little swirls, and I'm a fatty. I like ice cream and
me and you both.
I want to eat this cup, and it reminds me of Milky Way. Milky Way makes me hungry. Okay, Milky Way it is. And I go and I post a picture of this Milky Way cup, and people are like, how did you do that? Oh my God. And I'm like, really?
And look at the elevation you brought to the community. I have seen cups come from medium standard to high standard. I mean, it's just added not only to our community. And the confidence of these
people, they're like, I can do it.
Yes. And the cups that get put out, it adds to that standard of that people see, and they're like, oh, I want a cup like that.
Yeah.
And now our community's learning, oh, now there's a different standard I can do.
And I see people who are doing the quote unquote Milky Way cup.
Hashtag Milky Way.
Hashtag Milky Way cup. I'm gonna give myself my own hashtag.
Can you do that? Okay. Or do you have to be assigned a hashtag, Nicole?
Who makes these stupid rules up? I mean,
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, we're just gonna gloss over that.
Okay.
Let's just keep on moving forward, keeping it positive. So this hashtag Milky Way, when somebody goes and does this hashtag Milky Way or hashtag Marett Magic or hashtag Magic Year, whatever cheesy crap they want to throw out there, and they don't credit me, do I get mad?
I don't know that you can.
I can't. I'm like, cool. You gave me a click. You saw I influenced.
I know that you watched me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, do you need more than that?
Yeah.
I know that
I'm
you
validated.
know.
Yeah, and I don't need anybody to keep my name on fire.
Right?
I can do that all by myself. Thank you so much.
I think that's a large part of it.
Yeah.
Are some artists so stingy with needing the recognition because they think they have nothing else to offer? That they think that that's all they're ever going to be known for, that this is it? Would they be so stingy if they thought, oh, next month I'm going to have something else amazing written out there that people are... If they continually thought that way, would they be so stingy with it's mine, you're taking from me?
I mean, to be honest with you, I am so pumped and excited to be showing people... I don't just want to show people how to do... I cannot beat a dead horse enough. I didn't know that was going to take off the way it did. It did. It blew up. It was
I did, and it was amazing.
And I look at you and I'm like, why didn't you tell me this all along? And you're looking at me like I'm crazy, and you're like, you wouldn't listen to me. And I'm like, okay, well, you're right, you know.
You have a talent for it, and you're sharing it something. And I think of like all the amazing women that I've learned from in just the DIY world. When I think of Dahlia that I learned from, and I think of Melissa from Silhouette School, they didn't gain the ability to have influence on the community by hoarding everything they knew.
Keeping it all to themselves.
They have shared it, and it has made them larger than life that people are learning from every single day. And I honestly feel like it's more important for them to share and others to learn than all the rest of it that just comes with it naturally.
Oh yeah.
That the most important for them to do is share, and I am amazed by that all the time about the amount of knowledge they give away.
There is definitely I don't need a reward from my peers. I don't need a reward, pat on the back, go get them, No, my reward is the feeling that I get when people are just so darn happy.
Yeah.
That they felt comfortable, that they are just humbled and just happy that somebody was willing to take the time to teach me.
Right.
And I'm like, that is my thing. Like, I have walked the walk, even though I've only been doing this for like a little bit, 2 years maybe, I have evolved, and I see that I am no longer rewarded by just being stingy with my ideas and my technique. I am rewarded by giving it to you, please.
And watching the community grow.
Yeah, please ask me these questions. I don't have enough time in the day to answer everybody's question.
No, so there's a ton. And there's
I
a
don't
ton.
have time for all that. Yeah,
right.
There's a ton. Everybody's like, please tell me, please tell me. And so like, you have actually like nipped at me because I'm like, guys, you better use that search bar tool because I am not going to answer the same question 50 different times, come on. And you're like, no, you have to, because these people want to know. They want to soak up everything that you have to say. And so I'm like,
but the best thing you did was do the YouTube channel, because now you have a place to point them.
Yes.
Like, while I can't answer the 5,000 questions in this thread, I can point you over here where you can watch me talk about it and show it to you.
And our beautiful mods are just so awesome with that.
Girl, we have some amazing moderators.
And they're patient. Like, if Suzanne and I are kind of diva-ish, like that's why we're so like, yes, Suzanne's the mean one, guys. Okay, like I'm the nice one, even though I might come off like a total, villain. But no, we are constantly trying to work on material and trying to give you the best of the best, materials-wise, techniques-wise, just knowledge in general. That our mods are so awesome. They go and they kind of filter through that, and they kind of they keep us on track and organized, and their eyes and our ears. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them. They're awesome.
Yes, they are.
Thank you so much for doing that, guys.
Yes, we love
y'all. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's wrap this up. So I guess to answer our stop capping me. I have to say, like, stop capping me. You're capping me. Can you claim a technique? Can you claim it? Can you say you ripped me off?
Can I give the simple answer?
Yeah.
This time, no.
Exactly. Okay, no. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today. I'm so glad that you are here with us. I'm so glad to have Suzanne here with us.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks. You come back anytime. My door is always open. You just have to drive 12 hours to get here.
Yeah.
So, and she got a flat tire, and like.
That's a whole nother story.
Like my adventure to get to Nicole.
Yes.
She had to brave it, guys.
I did.
But, okay. Thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. We have been in your ear long enough, and I'm sure you are just, like, ready to take this to, the groups.
Right? Your closest friends, and be like, you gotta listen to this.
Listen to this. Listen, Linda, listen. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. We'll be talking with you next week.